episode we will be talking about the reasons for secrecy in the UFO field by governments and other agencies. We'll also be looking at Jimmy Carter and his UFO experience, and we'll have a quote of the week, and then we'll have my thoughts and questions, and we'll have some of your questions as well. Thank you, and see you in the next part. Right, hello. Reasons for secrecy. Why would governments or agencies keep ufology or UFOs, aliens, a secret? 1. Panic. Would the population panic? Would they go out panic buying? Would they loot? Would they not go to work the next day? Keep the country running? Would the country come to a standstill? And if people weren't going to work, food wouldn't be going to shops, medicines, fuel going to shops. Could be mass panic. Personally, I don't think it would be. I think initially there'd be a bit of panic, but I don't think now it would amount to much. I think at the end of the day we're still going to have to go and feed our families, earn a living, etc. So I can't see it happening that much. Loyalty. I think sometimes in the ufology world, loyalty, it's a swear word. To be honest, it's how people are morally versed. Many people sign the Official Secrets Act and they stick by it. That's what they believe in. They've signed it when they've done it, and I can't fault anyone for that. It's your moral right to do that. I think sometimes when it's damaging your local population or humanity in general, that's another moral issue. Is that a higher moral issue than your stand on? I've give someone my word, I won't tell anyone. Is saving 100,000 lives more morally just? That's all I'll say on it. Knowledge is power, or knowledge and power. For instance, if a country knew or had a UFO or any alien technology that is vastly superior to anything else anyone else has got, everyone's going to want that. And people are going to send spies in. It's going to cause some friction, and also in military terms it gives that country an outstanding level of technology over your enemy. You could defeat them by not even having to send troops in. So would you really want a competing nation knowing about what you've got? I don't think you would. Big business, or business in general. Again, technology from UFOs, could it give us clean energy, renewable energy? Yeah, possibly. It could replace oil, coal, solar, nuclear power. But at the end of the day, there's a flip side of that. How many people in the world are you going to make unemployed by that? Yeah, you'll have some employed in the new sector of clean energy, because at the end of the day you've still got to build stuff and the upkeep, but the amount of people who would lose the jobs because of that is probably quite a large chunk, and I think that's possibly one of, I'm playing devil's advocate here, it might not be. Got to look at the biggest losers. Who's going to lose out the most by this technology or information being shared by everybody? It could be your fossil fuels manufacturers such as Shell, BP, Texaco oil, the big coal industries, the nuclear power industries, arms manufacturers. Would there be any need for arms? Would there be any need for war? Banks, would we need money? Religion. There's many big losers, and these are big players in the world market economy and how the world's run. And if they were here to help, again, there will be a lot of people lose their jobs, but there'd be trillions of dollars wiped off the shares, and obviously as pharmaceuticals as well. I mean, how many, if these people just came down and said, right, we've got a cure for everything, one injection will do everything, your pharmaceutical business is gone as well. It's probably the elite losing the power, the rich not being as rich. So I don't know. Again, it's like the old adage, follow the money. Religion, I can live with religion and extraterrestrials as one Catholic priest said. God's plan is just bigger than we thought, and yes, whether you're Muslim, Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Sikh, whatever religion, or atheist, I think they're compatible. We're just a tiny speck of what God intended. Too many questions, right? If the government's come out, yes, we do know about UFOs and aliens. What are the questions? There are going to be hundreds of questions. Who are they? Where are they from? What are they doing here? Can we defend ourselves against them? Are they hostile? Are they friendly? Are they here? Can they cure diseases? And to be honest, they may be able to answer them questions, but would they want to? They might already know, they might already have a treaty with them, which one we're supposed to have, but we'll go into that at a later date. So sometimes is these answers potentially more frightening than not knowing. And also sometimes ignorance is bliss. Again, devil's advocate. I'd personally like to know, because like I say, I think if in an earlier episode, I don't think they're here to invade us, because they would have done it. So that is, I don't know why else they're resources. Anyway, that part of the show is over, and the next one is the Jimmy Carter UFO. Whether it was or not, you decide. Hello, back again. Right, Jimmy Carter, the 39th US president. He submitted a report that he'd seen a UFO in January 1969 at Leary, Georgia, the US. He claimed to have seen, with 10 to 20 other witnesses, a large bright object that changed colours about the size of the moon. Mr. Carter and other witnesses watched for about 10 to 12 minutes and watched it move towards them, stopped, and then moved back to its original position. He claimed the light didn't have any solid substance, and it was also silent. Jimmy Carter himself didn't believe it was a UFO of extraterrestrial origin himself, and the official verdict was by some that mistook Venus, which was in the correct position at the time. But I don't think Venus is as big as the moon. I don't think it moves closer, and I don't think it changes colours that many times. Jimmy Carter himself is an amateur astronomer, and he's a Bachelor of Science. He's an intelligent man. He's grounded. He was a lieutenant in the US Navy on the nuclear submarine, so it's not as if he has many flights of fancies, I wouldn't have thought. But your own facts. Thank you. Herman Oberth. He was and this is what he said: it is for the Nazis in Germany, and he also was a NASA rocket scientist, and he said, it is my thesis that flying saucers are real and that they are spaceships from another solar system. There is no doubt in my mind that these objects are interplanetary craft of some sort. I and my colleagues are confident that they do not originate in our solar system. Again, another intelligent. Governments and countries do need to keep secrets. I'm not naive enough to know that some secrets are worth keeping. You don't want your neighbours who are potentially enemies, not saying that we have got any in England and the UK. Europe is an excellent place to be, and we're still part of Europe even though we're leaving it. Never mind. So yeah, we do need secrets. I think it's when secrets are withheld by people that's going to benefit humanity, that is a different issue. I think you can, but that's your morals at the end of the day. I certainly wouldn't berate anybody for not telling anyone if they've signed the Officials Act, because if that's what they believe in, that's what they believe in, and at the end of the day, you can't knock anyone for that. At the time, they did what they thought was right. But when it hurts people or it's stopping anything benefiting humanity, that's maybe another issue, as I spoke of earlier. Leaked or large leaked secrets. I'm always suspect when huge secrets come out, or we just got this information from a big document that we didn't land on the moon, or we have proof of aliens, or we have proof that we haven't got aliens. Because in the that sort of area, everything's compartmentalized, so everybody doesn't know everything, and there's only ever a few people know the full story. So I'm always a bit wary of that. Do your own homework on it, and it's up to you to believe or disbelieve what they've said. It could also be that it's slowly drip fed to us, that it is true, or there's truth in it as well as lies. So they could either say no, that's not true, or yes, it is true. Or like I said, slowly drip information to you, so if they ever do come to admitting to UFOs or aliens, it's we're sort of acclimatized to it. We're not it hasn't come out of the dark, so to speak. Fake news is the one that's been in the news. Fake news, there's nothing new about fake news, it's just a different terminology for it. Fake news has been around thousands of years, it's been called various things. Modern terminology is psyops, hearts and minds, propaganda, and that's basically what it is. When it tends to be when a government or group doesn't believe in what's being said, they'll say, oh, it's fake news. Donald Trump and every government will say, well, that's not true. We use it against the Russians, the West against the Russians against the West. We tell them our version of events, where the Russians will tell their people their version of events. Probably somewhere halfway in the middle is probably about the truth, but we'll never know that. That's another issue. Also with fake news, the second invasion of Iraq, so-called weapons of mass destruction, after the war none were found. Tony Blair told the British people, oh, they've got them, that's why we went in. Now is this misinformation, which is information given by a source but is given unknowingly that it is a lie, or is it disinformation, which is information given knowing it's a lie, and that's the truth? And Tony Blair doesn't have to go to court for it, even though hundreds of thousands died along with Bush. Never mind, it's a different thing. Pressure. It's easy to pressurize people not to come out with the truth. It doesn't take a lot. For instance, we had in the UK a number of years ago, we had a rather seedy DJ, TV celebrity, worked for the BBC. He's dead now, thank God. He's where he should be, and he abused children of all ages and elderly people, and also it was alleged dead people. Whether or not that's true or not. Anyway, people in power knew, or people in places knew what he was doing. There's one or two spoke up that were told basically to shut up or they'll never work again in that area of field, and that's just by a company who we work for, the BBC. It's disgusting, really. They didn't want their name hurt. It's come out. It's like muck now, where it was then anyway. It's a lot worse than it was. And that was just by people losing their jobs or being ridiculed. And other things, if someone, for pilots or military or anybody really with a career, they're told if you talk, your career's over. We could make a laughing stock of you. You'll never work again. And that's before they start pushing buttons to say we'll do damage to you or your family. And that's a big incentive. If someone threatened me and my family, I probably wouldn't. And that's just the way it is. That's life. Is it worth your family possibly dying? I'm not saying it's happened, but it certainly will have been mentioned, or threats of that nature. Anyway, that's the end of this video today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you like, click on the like button, consider subscribing, get your comments into our channel for us, and I'll see you in the next video. So good night, God bless, and be safe.